if we had a branch of military that stayed here and guarded people in the nation? What?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be genius?
Let's just send the National Guard into every school in America. That should be cheap, right? That should be pretty cheap. A whole new staff of military-trained gunmen at every school in America. Schools that can't afford to keep their ceilings intact and get asbestos out of the walls.
It's the Casey and Zoe thing.
Can we enlist the help of veterans to protect schools? Is this one, which I'm nervous about. Fox and
I'm
Friends
so
Weekend
curious
co-host
to hear
Pete
this
Hegseth
idea.
joins the next revolution to weigh in on the dangers of a woke U.S. military and reacts to the Texas school shooting. God damn it. All right, kids, here we go.
Joining us now is Fox and Friends Weekend co-host Pete Hegseth. Pete, so great to see you. I want to get to this woke military stuff in a second, but there's something I really wanted to talk to you about because it's come up in the last few days. Obviously, we're all still reflecting on the terrible school shooting in Texas. Details still emerging. I don't want to get into the specifics, but there's something that I've heard mentioned by friends, specifically on the question of how it may be possible to enlist the support of our great vets community in protecting schools. You're such a key leader in that community. I just wondered what you made of this. The idea, I think, was to partner schools with vets in the community and actually have them be part of the...
So before they get in, so the suggestion is veterans who've already been through whatever they've been through, who are now, who are, for anyone who doesn't know, obviously completely neglected by the U.S. government generally. Like the government does not take care of U.S. veterans. And now these people who are generally like suffering from PTSD, huge suicide rate for veterans. I think the suicide has killed more veterans than combat in the last few decades, I believe. You're going to take these people who are like often injured, like suffering in so many ways, suffering from injuries, suffering from PTSD, often living in poverty because they're not taken care of by their government. And now we're going to ask these people to go fight in schools with guns?
Oh,
I just need to take a moment.
And I'm wondering if what they're saying is the military is too woke, and that's why we shouldn't. I'm wondering if that's what they're gonna say. But
no, we'll see. Yeah, I just had to grapple with that initial concept of like going, like so many veterans are homeless, and like you're like, hey, buddy, who needs a lot of help? Could you help us? Like, holy fuck. Okay. Anyway.
All right. Let's see what they have to say.
Protection for schools. What do you think of that?
Steve, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a way to be proactive. It's a way to harden these sites. It's a way to bring in people quickly who have that experience, who understand weapon systems and threats, and frankly are members of the local community, whether it's retired
Hey, thanks for the
law
follow,
enforcement
highbrow
or
capybara.
retired, vets or guys that have moved on to another part of their lives. No one loves their community more than those who are willing to put their lives on the line. So I think I'd rather not see a federal corps doing this, but state by state and school district by school district partnering with existing organizations that find these guys and gals and put them in the right places feels like an actual proactive solution.
So really their suggestion is a new domestic branch of the military entirely devoted, made up entirely of veterans, retired veterans, I don't know, and who will then police all of our schools. A whole new branch of military.
Jesus. And also, look at this.
Fuck doors. Yeah, seriously. No, like this idea. I'm assuming this is a reference to the popular new Republican idea that like schools should have one door.
Yes. Which is the craziest fucking... It's the amount Yeah, National Guard, if you will. Genuinely, this shit already exists. What if we had a branch of military that stayed here and guarded people in the nation? What? Wouldn't that be genius?
Let's just send the National Guard into every school in America. That should be cheap, right? That should be pretty cheap. A whole new staff of military-trained gunmen at every school in America. Schools that can't afford to keep their ceilings intact and get asbestos out of the walls. Somehow we're going to find budget for a fucking kill team squad at every school in America.
Also, though, the right is fighting so hard for privatized education and charter schools. They want an end to public schooling.
Yeah.
So perhaps in privately funded schools, this is a possibility. But this is just like so out of the realm of reality. It's unbelievable. And like just as Ragnas was saying before, like arming teachers, the teachers are going to end up paying for that. Yeah. This is just like, this is insanity. This is insanity. And they are just moving the goalposts every fucking place they possibly can until they find something that sounds kind of normal.
Yeah.
So that they can get away from taking away guns so that the NRA can keep paying them and then they can keep fear-mongering on behalf of the NRA.
Yep.
Solution to something that it's easy to talk about with talking points, but finding something real and tangible can be difficult.
No, actually, just regulate the guns. Just copy the regulations that exist in the UK and Australia and so many other places, and that's the solution, you fucking liar.
The idea.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I liked about it. It just sounded constructive and practical, and something that could...
Constructive and practical! Practical! To equip every school in America with like a fucking like Fox Force 5 crack elite squad to protect the, like.
Can you imagine what these kids are going to grow up to be like if this is what schools become?
I know. I think about it. Like it's.
If this happens, if shit like this happens somehow, because they'll find the funding for this.
Well, yeah.
They'll find the funding for this.
Disgusting
they can't find
thing.
the funding to help homeless people. They can't find the funding for healthcare.
They can't find the funding.
They'll find the funding.
They can't find the funding to give kids free lunches at school.
No. Lunch? No.
Or breakfasts. But putting a kill
the money
squad
for this. It exists.
A kill squad in every school.
That's
look,
part of the budget.
Actually, I think there's some coins in the cushions.
I found some.
Wouldn't you know? Wow.
These fucking idiots. All right, let's see.
Yeah.
What do you have to say, you dumb fucks?
Be done. Let's move on to the subject that I kind of set up there, which is the way in which the kind of priorities of the military under this Biden regime seem to be completely twisted. And if you just look...
Biden regime, just noting. Can't say administration. It's a regime.
Right.
The Trump administration was an administration. The Biden administration...
Regime. Just so you know.
Little
sprinkle. Language. A juicy little language sprinkle for you
A little propaganda pepper to spice things up.
A little PP.
Yeah.
Look at the kinds of things they're saying. I mean, this climate stuff was just the other week. They were going on about how...
Thanks for the follow, Harry Streams.
I think, the greatest threat facing the country that the military had to...
I'm so nervous for what you're going to say.
So curious. I grew out the beard to hide my identity. But you saw right through it. Sharp eye.
God damn, I thought he was talking about this one.
He doesn't even have a mustache.
You might be the real... You do look swag.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Good job, Casey. Thanks, Harry.
Love you back, Harry Streams.
I can defend against was climate change. I mean, what's going on?
You've got the manifestation of critical race theory through diversity, equity, and inclusion. You want to use the word systemically burrowed into the Department of Defense. So that's the one side of the sort of woke
do you know what systemic means? Pull out a little dickie and open it up and look up the word systemic and try again.
Military aspect. And then you have military leaders who've gone to the same elite institutions. And most people don't know that most of our generals at one point went to a graduate program at some Ivy League or woke university that tells them that climate change is the single greatest threat we face. They drag those views into the Pentagon, and then that drives planning, which is why, as China's looking...
I'm so sick of these woke generals dragging science into the Pentagon. Won't someone stop them?
Everybody's freaking out about climate change. I'm going to die in 20 years. I don't have to worry about it. It's not real. It's not part of my reality. These fucking guys with their ideas
Incredible.
are ruining the world.
It is all like I can't imagine lying this much every day.
It's literally buzzword bingo. Yes.
looking to take land and build their legacy. We're worried about building electric vehicles and electric tanks by 2050. It's not about, no, really, it's not about the lethality we're going to need to defeat our enemies. It's about virtue signaling to the world about how clean we're going to be when it
the
has
lethality
no
we're going to
on our
need
ability to close with and
to
destroy the enemy.
defeat our enemies.
It's not for some.
These guys want World War.
That's
they want
literally
World
what he
War
just
III.
said. He's like, it's not about getting bigger and tougher so that we can kill people. It's about making things clean.
Yeah.
Like, what was that?
Virtue signaling. Virtue signaling is like one of the
This is insane.
stupidest
This is
terms, I
insane.
feel, of like everyone, whenever you express any moral position, you could call it virtue signaling. I don't know why you would, because it's a stupid thing to call it, but it's like so weird. I mean, and also there's already better, like if you're talking about like performative
Yeah.
activism, those are smart words that make sense and actually describe the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, virtue signaling. It's just a term that drives me fucking nuts. It's such a
thing.
powerful propagandistic tool to immediately dismiss any moral assertion with which you disagree without having to make an argument. Just like cancel culture, it's a term that saves people from having to make actual arguments, and so they can just go like, oh, this is like, oh, I don't like this protest, so it's cancel culture. I don't like this moral assertion, so it's virtue signaling. It's like, fucking stop, please.
And guess what? The army I joined, and I still know, is the most diverse, the most equal, and the most inclusive institution on the planet. And we thrive on unit cohesion.
The most inclusive institution on the planet, the U.S. military.
I don't know about that one, guys. I don't know about that one, guys.
Every step of the way, any not white man has had to fight to be involved.
I really don't know about that one, guys.
That have fucking protests that would march in the streets. Let us be fascist soldiers. Let us be imperialist agents.
Didn't we like what year was it that the whole "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" thing was repealed?
Yeah, it was
Under
pretty
Obama?
recent.
It was
Yeah,
Obama,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'm not totally sure, but yes.
They were like, guys, don't tell me you're gay,
Yeah.
all right? Yucky, yucky.
Just
We are the most
pretend.
inclusive in the world, so we'll let you in, but just don't say anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing what you can say when you have no soul. No shame.
Can you imagine? I mean, it's like me when I get drunk. When I get really drunk, I just start saying shit to say it. It's hilarious and fun.
Right.
But I like talk about how like I'm my favorite flower, and I just make some shit up. But like this guy's like actually deciding how people in the world think, and this is dangerous and bad. And he's not even drunk.
DEI and CRT are meant to divide our troops, which is what it
Our
does.
troops?
And it doesn't make them
Okay.
any better as a fighting
Exactly.
force. It's insidious. And any future leader needs to go right at the heart of the
Exactly.
problem.
Not made to divide our troops.
It's not.
That's a lie. Moving on.
And do you think, Pete, just quickly, that new leadership could turn this around quickly? Because it feels to me like this is an infection at the top, not throughout the military.
Both. You're going to need a new
Both.
commander in chief who's gonna knock it off.
Both.
But you also are going to need to change the promotion and incentive system, which incentivizes commanders who conform to the latest woke fad inside their training process and promote likewise fellow thinkers who are focused more on being woke than creating, I don't know, realistic combat training for their troops. So going along to get along is the best way to get promoted.
Sir, can we create some new combat training for our troops? No, I'm too busy on Twitter making sure no one says tranny. Like what? Like, what are you talking about? This is not a thing.
This is insane. No, I believe in climate change, so don't teach me this. Listen, America is racist. I can't learn combat.
That like military leaders are spending like 8 hours a day being woke. They just have
What
no
does
time left.
being woke even mean?
And that's the thing about this shit: being woke, virtue signaling, cancel culture, these
It's just
vagaries,
buzz,
vagaries.
It's on purpose.
It's designed. Like it's so funny because he's saying, "Oh, this is designed to divide." What he's doing is designed to divide and confuse
He's
people.
like just saying shit to say it, and all the people
Yeah.
who don't actually know what, diversity,
And
equity,
Ragnats,
inclusiveness. Literally, like, people who don't know what these words mean will take the little context clues around it, all the fear-mongering,
Yep.
and decide that these words are bad and bad things, and then go around spreading how bad these words are, and it turns into this fucking virus of idiots who don't know what words mean.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm gonna
And it's one of
puke
the
in my mouth.
No, like from my perspective, one of the greatest threats to the human species right now is people not knowing what words mean.
No.
Like, and it's like a subtle thing, and like it seems like maybe it's not that big a deal, but I think it's like at the root of so many of our current social problems. Just Americans don't know what fucking words mean.
These people must like laugh themselves to sleep about how easy it is to manipulate this whatever 20% of the population.
Oh yeah, the sick fucks.
They must think this shit is hysterical.
They're laughing all the way to the bank, no doubt.
I can't believe.
Which is where you get political generals and not war fighters. So you'd have to do both.
What'd I do?
The cursor, but it went away. I
Well,
forgot.
it's so important. I mean, in a way, a few things that are more important. So it's fantastic that you could join us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch
No,
our
I
live
won't.
interviews
here to
and
get
Why is he at the end of every video?
You will not get it.
He's like, if you weren't feeling queasy enough, it's me, Sean Hannity.
He's like the MGM lion of MGM.
All right, we watched
He's
this
at the end of
one.
every one going, "Brah! Hey, you gotta subscribe to YouTube."